you trust. We also have local experts who make sure you get everything you need. Because at Ace, we have our own list, and great service is at the top.
Hi, this is Shelley at Gibson East in Clinton, the helpful place. Stop by our store today where our helpful staff are ready to assist you.
Early morning, man's best friend, your secret spot, everything you need to bank your limit and the farm. Thanks to Smart Alerts from Ag MRI, you can see issues as they arise with automated crop intelligence at scale, providing a view of every acre, every field from plant to harvest, all from your smartphone or tablet. So you don't have to sacrifice your role as farmer, parent, or whatever else comes along each season. See issues before they're a problem, only with Smart Alerts from Ag MRI.
Cropland Seed is celebrating 25 seasons of gratitude, and our appreciation keeps growing. Every season has been a learning opportunity. So what have we discovered over the last 25 years? Just how grateful we are for the growers who trust their seasons to Cropland Seed. Putting your trust in our innovation and performance can help make your harvest a success. Talk to your Winfield United retailer today or learn more at cropland.com.
You're listening to The Morning Show, streamed by clicking the WHOW live icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guest in studio this morning, DeWitt County Board Chair Terry Ferguson, as we follow up the Thursday night DeWitt County Board meeting. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Seth.
How's harvest going?
On hold.
On hold.
Still got a little bit of beans to do.
No, you're not going to be out there Thanksgiving Day, are you?
Well, I hope not.
I hope not, too.
I think it's going to be raining Thanksgiving Day.
You're going to have to do...
I just listened to your weather forecast.
I was going to say, you're going to have to get out there either this weekend or Monday and Tuesday, it sounds like.
They were about ready yesterday.
Were they really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this wind is drying it out a little bit.
Well, the problem is you took away the wind today. There's no wind.
I know. Well, I didn't take it away. It was going to be like windy yesterday and then calm today. So is it not dry enough? Like even after yesterday? Because it was nice and breezy.
We'll see what today brings.
All right.
A lot of frost this morning.
It's true. Fair enough. DeeDee Rentmeister is the DeWitt County Administrator, also in studio with us today. Good morning, DeeDee.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming out and talking with us. I know we're going to go over the budget and some of those things here for this morning. Terry, just from your perspective, give us your overview on the budget, and we'll dive into maybe some of the specifics coming up with DeeDee here in a second.
Well, it's the most important thing I feel that we do as the county board is dealing with the finances of the county, and a lot of hard work gone into it. DeeDee and the department heads put together a budget that's all inclusive, provides the necessary services, and actually we're able to reduce our levy a couple of pennies. So
there you go.
It's a good deal.
Can't beat that. So DeeDee, how is the budget shaping up this year from your perspective? What are things looking like?
Oh, it looks really well. As Terry mentioned, it takes all of us to be on the same page to get this budget, to get a balanced budget, and to be in the financial shape that we are in. And we were able to reduce the overall county budget or levy by 2 cents from this current year. So I feel we're doing very well.
Sure. As you navigated this latest budget, how did COVID impact things, you think? And did you see the impacts of it there?
Honestly, I don't feel that DeWitt County saw as significant an impact as other counties did. And I think a lot of that is due to our department heads and the budget that we did have. Our department heads and elected officials are great. We don't spend money if we don't have to spend money.
Right.
So I don't think it really impacted us quite as much as other counties.
Sure. In terms of the budget itself, I mean, where does most of our revenue come from? Like, what are some of the breakdowns? Just ballpark figures, not down to the dollar and cents, but how about that?
It depends on which levy you're looking at.
Okay.
The general corporate levy, which is the levy that pretty much operates all of your departments except for the highway. It normally has a 27-cent levy, tax levy. So most of the money that operates that is coming from your fines and fees.
I see. Gotcha. When you talk about, tax revenues and those sorts of things, is it strictly, does the county strictly rely on property taxes and levies, or is there a sales tax component to some of this? Like, how does all of that shake out?
There is actually, and that sales tax goes as part of the corporate fund.
Mhm.
So as far as taxes that go into the corporate fund, we're setting a levy for this coming year at 25 cents. We've actually lowered that. So we were thinking we're going to get $1.5 million in taxes. The
Mhm.
rest of that comes from local use tax, income tax, like I said, fines and fees that are set throughout.
Don't forget the landfill.
Oh yes, and tipping fees from the landfill.
Mhm. Yeah.
And this year, the sheriff was able to house outside prisoners, which brought in revenue that we had not anticipated at all. So,
Oh, no kidding.
so that is as good. And then our replacement tax for this year came in higher than what we thought too.
Sure.
So we actually saw increases in revenue that we hadn't anticipated
Mhm.
in this year's budget.
Is the budget kind of, and I don't mean to mean this the way it's going to come off, but is it kind of plug and play? I mean, you just, you've got, you set your levy and you know what you're going to get and you just kind of fill in the blanks, or is it a lot more in depth than that, I guess? And I don't mean to diminish the work you do on it or anything like that.
And I think because I've been doing it so long, I guess I kind of do look at that. I certain avenues of our revenue side, there's a trend there,
right?
And you can see it. We did lose a little bit money a couple of years ago in our fines coming out of the court system because the state restructured those. But so I guess to answer that, in my case, I think it is kind of like that.
Yeah.
But I've done it for a long time.
Yeah, your experience lends to that a little bit. Sure, absolutely. When you mentioned the changes in the fines and fee structures, and there's been some other changes from the state level that I remember a few years ago you sat here with Dave Newberg and talked about that. We weren't sure what that was going to look like. Now we've got a couple of years of that under our belts. How much has that impacted us the last few years?
It has some, but in other areas we've picked up more money.
Okay. Where?
Well, and the one thing Terry said is our tipping fees, our host fees, I guess I shouldn't call them tipping fees, host fees from the landfill, that has increased. During the pandemic, something that really stuck out to me was our local use tax, and that didn't go down very much. So that meant people were still going out and buying stuff and staying in the county.
Sure. Now with when we go to shop, let's say, we stop in to save a lot. We swing into Walgreens for something, we run around town, we spend our dollars here. How much of when we shop in Clinton, and we'll kind of broaden this conversation as we go, but when we shop in Clinton, how much of that tax money goes to you at the county building, or does any of it?
It does. I do not know the formula because it goes to the state.
And
the state pays us.
I see.
We get a check monthly.
But portions of what we spend in Clinton is going to the county.
It does. Yeah, it does come into the county.
I see. So, but if let's say we're shopping at a, I think of, and I can't remember Mr. Wilson, Steve Wilson's feed shop out by Waynesville. Does more of that tax money go to the county? Since that's kind of considered rural DeWitt County. Does that make sense?
Well, it's a good example, but it's not.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
There's no sales tax on livestock feed.
Well, Terry, now you're just getting nitpicky with me here. Okay. All right. But I'm just kidding with you. But that's, you're shopping rural. And so more of that tax money goes to DeWitt County.
I believe the percentage is still the same.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Of whatever tax is collected, I think the percentage is still the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it just has to qualify
for
the pay.
Well, obviously, let's maybe I'll throw out a better example next time we have this conversation, I suppose. So, DeeDee, what is the overall county budget? What's the total spending plan? I guess.
Well, and this would include all of our budgets, which we have. A lot more budgets that don't rely on a tax.
Okay.
We refer them as automation, but there are fees that are collected and by statute that have to be for specific purposes. So those have their own separate budgets.
Right.
And then this year's budget does include the ARPA money.
Yeah.
That the has been allocated to the county, which by next year, the county will have received $3 million of that.
Okay.
So the expenditure budget is $28,354,190.
So again, our guest in the studio this morning, Terry Ferguson, is the DeWitt County Board Chair, and DeeDee Rentmeister is the County Administrator. We follow up the Thursday night County Board meeting and are talking with DeeDee about budgets this morning. I think of one-time expenses like application fees for the wind farm, those types of things. How much did that impact this year's budget? And again, that's a large dollar figure that you're collecting for those permits and such. Does that decrease next year, like your anticipation of next year's revenues and things like? Okay,
it does.
So was that a boost to this year's budget then, I guess?
Yes, last year and this year's budget, because depending on when the check came through.
Right.
But that just helped us be able to recognize that we were able to lower that corporate levy by 2 cents.
So it may go back up next year with those dollars
not go back up.
And so I want to ask this as well, as we anticipate the wind farm going up. When will those revenues start to trickle in from those?
As far as assessment?
Yeah.
Good question.
I think we get it.
I know it's like a year or two after.
Online in 22,
right?
It would be assessed in 23, be probably
24.
Yeah, probably 24 before we got any money.
And that's what I was thinking, because I talked to the superintendent of Mount Pulaski, and he was talking about how, like, even though they were up, they had to wait a few years for those dollars to trickle into the district. And so I was curious if that was the same way with the county. So very good. DeeDee, am I missing any? You mentioned the CARES funding and the ARPA funding. Without diving too deep into the weeds, because I know there's a lot of confusion and not very much clarity with those two things. But how much have those helped the budgeting process the last year or two?
CURES actually helped, because CURES started last year in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
The CURES money came in 2020, and we were able to. And I don't have the figure with me of what we were allocated, but it was over $200,000 for that.
Right.
And we were able
But that had to go to like payrolls, right?
Some of it did, or all the expenses to get the plexiglass, any PPE we could use. So plexiglass and barriers were put in various offices, the courtrooms throughout the county. Them buying, hand sanitizer, masks, additional cleaning supplies for our janitorial staff.
Gotcha.
And then we were able to recoup some payroll cost because when COVID first hit in March of 2020, only essential workers came to work. So quite a few people were furloughed, and that CURES money actually paid us back for them to be at home and get paid.
I see. So looking ahead to next year, between ARPA funding, CARES funding, wind farm revenues, and things of that nature, could the next year be a little more challenging, thinking ahead a little bit?
Well, the CURES money is going to end December of this year.
Okay.
So that's the ARPA money. We have to have it either spent or allocated by 2024. So we have time to figure out what's the best way to spend that money with the guidelines that the Treasury is giving us.
Okay. Gotcha. Very good. Did I miss anything on the budget you wanted to mention? Anything that stands out on that you do year in and year out to make this happen? How about that?
No, actually, I'm just very proud of our elected officials and office heads and county board that we were able to do a 2-cent reduction this coming year.
Sure.
I think that shows that everybody is fiscally responsible and they're not spending money they don't need to. So I'm very proud of everybody to help us realize this 2-cent savings.
Sure. Well, you're not always going to find $1 million laying around, but dropping the levy a little bit is certainly going to help. That is DeWitt County Administrator DeeDee Rentmeister and County Board Chair Terry Ferguson. We'll have more with them coming up on the WHOW Morning Show.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Friday. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans lower, and wheat starting today slightly lower. December corn 569 down 4. March corn down 4.5, 574 3/4. May corn 578 3/4 down a nickel. December 22 corn 549 down 4 1/4. January beans 1263 1/4 down 2. March beans down 2 pennies 1274 1/2. November 22 beans 1245 1/2 down 3 1/4. December wheat opening 8.18 3/4, down 1 1/4. March wheat down 2 3/4, 8.28, and July wheat 8.23 1/2, down 1 1/4. December bean meal 3.6940, that's down $1. December bean oil 58.76, down 41 cents. That's a look at the opening numbers of the Chicago Board of Trade on this Friday. I'm Jim Taylor, the RFD Radio Network.
At Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Baum Motor Company in Farmer City, our job is to help you and solve your transportation needs. This is Scott Baum. Both in Clinton or Farmer City, we'll listen and find options for a different vehicle, or we'll give you repair options to keep that car, truck, or SUV safe and trouble-free so you can continue with your busy schedule. If it has to do with transportation, we're here to help. Visit our full-service team today in Clinton or Farmer City. Baum Chevrolet Buick, right from the start.
Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson tells us live cashiers are important. Here's Dave with more.
The cashier actually doing the cashiering is pretty darn important, and the customers respond to that. We've gotten a tremendous response to our campaign reminding people that we have live cashiers.
You get live cashiers every time you save up to 40% off on your grocery bill at your Clinton Save-A-Lot. And as Dave always says,
and we hope to see you soon.
Benson Hill is on a mission to transform the food system from the ground up, and we want to partner with you to get there. Join our new Plant for Protein program and grow in-demand soybean varieties that meet the needs of today's consumer. Limited acres available in your area for 2022, so don't wait. Visit BensonHillFarmers.com or call us at 314-594-7624 to lock in your premium contract today. That's BensonHillFarmers.com.
You're listening to The Morning Show, streamed by clicking the WHOW live icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence, and in studio with me again, Terry Ferguson, DeWitt County Board Chair, and DeeDee Rentmeister is the County Administrator in with us as well. Terry, following up the Thursday night County Board meeting, let's just go over some of these appointments that were done right off the bat last night. What do you have for us?
Well, I guess the main appointments were the ETSB board. Mm-hmm. We had a couple of vacancies there, and it was making that almost impossible for them to have a quorum to get a meeting going.
Okay.
And
what's the importance of that board?
Well, they provide all of the equipment and the facilities for the 911 dispatch center, mm-hmm. and there's a lot of money.
So is that basically the CENTCOM board?
No,
it's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a different deal.
Okay.
But they kind of do this. One deals with the operations, and the other one deals with the funding and the services. And
okay.
Stuff.
Sure. All right. Very good. So now is that board full, or is it?
It is now.
Okay. Good. Well, that's good to hear. You've also appointed Katie Arnold to the County Mental Health Board and Robert France to the County Board of Review. So those were two appointments last night as well. Sure. I know you were very involved, Terry, in the last week's exercise at the power plants, and that was pretty.
This week. It was Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it was my first involvement with that, and it was very enlightening. I really didn't know what to expect. I did find out from our practice run that the function of the county board chairman is to declare the emergency. You evaluate what the advice is from everybody, mm-hmm. and when it comes down to it, the county board chairman has to make the approval if an evacuation is ordered, or if you're going to tell everybody to stay in place and mm-hmm. hunker in your basement, or what you're gonna do.
Right.
But and then really that's about it for the responsibility of the county board chairman. Mm-hmm. But
I'm sure you watched a lot of things happen that day, though.
Yeah, we did, and it was a very detailed exercise. They threw out like alerts. They had fire and police and school representatives, Red Cross, mm-hmm. and health department, people from IEMA and the Department of Nuclear. I'm not sure what they call that. The it's part of EMA that
Mhm.
deals with the nuclear safety, and state police and conservation police.
Mhm.
And it was very, very intriguing. You know, they'd throw out issues that came up like, hey, we just got a call from DeWitt. There's somebody here that doesn't have any transportation, is in a wheelchair. We got to go get them out of the house. And, you know, it's a lot of realistic pretending, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why you do it, is, you know, anything that comes up. By the way, I do have those recordings that Rob called in for me. So like if you or Micah or whoever needs them at some point,
okay.
I've got those if you guys need them.
And
So.
I was going to say, the radio station was part of the drill also.
Right. Yeah. They called us a couple of times for mock messaging, I guess. Not like mocking messaging, but mock messages. At any rate, so that was on Tuesday, which I don't know why. It feels like a lot longer ago than that. But anyways, Terry, anything else on that exercise you want to put out there?
No, it was very successful in my opinion. We'll get our grade, I think, sometime today.
Okay.
IEMA will contact Micah here in our office and let us know whether we passed or not.
Good deal. Look forward to that.
This is Micah's second try at doing one of these. You know, he went into the first one right after he was hired. They had the drill, and we had a very successful drill. And, you know, I think everybody in the county takes it serious and knows what's going on.
We're pretty fortunate to have Micah, I think. He's a
good young man.
Yeah, he's really good. So, Terry, let's talk a little bit about some things going on at the marina. What's going on right now?
Yeah, we got the grant from the state for our parking lot and road improvement. We got that all all finished up here in the week before last. And there's still some unused portion of the grant we'll be finishing that up next spring. And we got a $250,000 grant from the state to make improvements at the marina.
Yeah.
And we took care of the lower parking lot, if anybody's familiar with the marina area, and finished updating the roadway leading into the marina. Everybody's going to have a nice smooth road in. We'll have a new parking lot without potholes and chuck holes. And
there you go.
And next spring we'll go ahead and get it striped. And I think we're going to make some changes in that parking lot. We've been allowing a few boat trailers to park down there in the lower lot, and we're gonna leave that all for cars, pickup trucks, for people that come to use the marina. Because right now those people end up having to park up in the main boat trailer lots with their cars, and then that messes up the parking for the boat trailers. So hopefully we can split that up and make it all work a little better.
All right, very good. So put that on the radar. Talk a little bit about actually, Terry, I don't have time for that, so my apologies, but good to have you in, Terry. DeeDee, thanks so much for coming out and covering the budget with us. Again, Terry Ferguson, DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest, along with DeeDee Rentmeister, County Administrator. Network News is next.